Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. Yeah, so sorry for the delay. There is some technical problems. Yes, so shall we start the session? In the last class, we have started with the chapter number 6, that is what are the various fact-finding techniques that we present, that is the interviews, questionnaires. Then we have also studied about the DFDs, what are the various techniques that is used for the designing part, that may include the DFDs, that may include the data dictionary, anything that is used for the Yes, that is used for the designing part of the SDLC. Now, next topic, there is today's topic is the identifying the data requirements. What are the various requirements or how we can identify what are the data requirement that is gathered by the user. So we have already pointed out the decision of the use of decision trees to formally highlight the sequential nature of many business decisions. That is, what are the decisions, what are the various business decision that is taken out that is used in a sequential way, and we have shown that decision trees are an effective method by which we can show the condition by which we can show the actions. So conditions and actions are represented by using the decision trees. So these are very effective when describing the business problem of more than one dimension or the condition. So if there's a requirement of more than one condition or the dimension, that requirement, that condition will be satisfied, will be fulfilled by the no. DFD is also one of the method, but if we compare about the decision tree, so whenever there is a requirement of more than one condition, more than one dimension, in that case, decision trees are very important case. However, they also identify the critical data requirement that is used by the decision process. So we can, the decision trees are the very important or the effective method that is used on the conditions and then provides the actions. The explicit data in the payment example are the payment data, amount of invoice, and the discount allowance percentage. That means what are the various payment or what are the various payment data? That is, what is the requirement of payment data, amount of invoice, and the discount allowance percentage. And there are other important data elements are also available, such as the invoice details, new invoice amount payable, and adjustment to the discount taken that are intact. An analyst must identify and list all the data used in the decision process. Even must identify and list each and every data that is used in the decision process, even though the decision tree does not show each and every individual data items. Now, if the decision trees are assembled after the completion data flow analysis, critical data may already be defined in the data dictionary. So whatever the data dictionary, whatever the data flow completion, data flow diagram that is used for the data dictionary. And if the decision trees are identified with each data element that is needed to make a decision trees, then we have to clarify, we have to identify each and every data element that is needed to process that data. So what are the various elements that is needed to process that data that is also requirement for the decision table. Now, what are the various problems or what are the precautions that we taken to avoid the problem with the decision trees? So decision trees may not or may not always be the best tools for the decision analysis. A decision tree for a complex system with many sequences of the steps and the combination of the conditions will be unwieldy. A large number of branches with many paths through them could rather than the aid analysis. The analyst may not be able to determine which business policies or the practices guide the formulation of the specific decisions. Where these problems arise, decision tables should be considered. So what are the various decisions that should be taken out for the problem? And in that cases also decision tables must be considered or should be considered. Now, next one is a decision table. So we have finished with the decision trees. What are the various advantages of the decision trees? Now, next come to the decision table. So why there is a requirement of the decision table? The answer is there are some drawbacks of the decision trees. That is a lack of the information in its format. That means there is a format that is not correct for the decision tree. That is a lack of the information in its format to tell us what other combination of the test to or condition to test. That is, what are the various conditions that is tested out, what are the various format that is to test it out for the decision table. This is where the decision table is useful. This is where the decision table is useful in case of the data combination, in the case of data arising. And a decision table is a table of contingencies for defining a problem and the actions to be taken. So what are the various actions, what are the various problems that is carried out for the various contingencies that is used to define a problem, and what are the various actions that is to be taken out for the decision table. And it is a single representation of the relationship between the conditions and the action. So decision table means a table will be drawn with both the condition and the action. Now, what is the difference between the decision tree and the decision table? In that case also there is a decision, there is a condition and the action. In this case, decision tables also there is a condition and the action. But difference is that decision tree is represented by the branches, that is a condition and the actions, and the decision tables is a table in which we are considering the row contains the conditions and the actions are columns. This is one of the example that consists of two parts, stub and the entry. Now again the stub part is divided into two parts. One is the condition stub, one is the lower or the action stub. That means one is the condition, one is the action, and the entry point or entry part is also divided into an upper quadrant known as the condition entry and a lower quadrant known as the action entry. And the four elements and their definitions are available in the decision tree, discount policy. Now this is one of the example. These are the conditions, these are the actions. Yeah, condition is successful. Yes. Condition is successful. No, over here. So according to the above table, we have 6 decisions and therefore 6 rules. There are total 6 decisions by which, or there are total 6 procedures by which we can undertake the decisions, and there are total 6 rules for this one. If we look at the table that provides each decision or the answer, immediately the following rules should be followed in constructing the decision table. That means what are the various rules that should be followed while constructing the decision tables? First one is a decision should be given a name. So whatever the decision that we are taken out, that should be given a name that's shown in the top left of the table. So that will be available in the top left of the table. And the logic of the decision table is independent of the sequence. So whatever the logic that is taken out, that is independent of the sequence in which the table or the condition rules are written, but the actions taken place in the order in which the event occurs. That means the logic is dependent of the sequence. That means whatever the condition we are right, on the basis of that, the actions will be taken out. The next one is standardized language must be used consistently. That means standardized language must be used automatically for each and every this condition and the action. Then the duplication of the terms or meanings should be terminated. So whenever there's a duplication, whenever there's a redundancy of the terms or the meanings, that should be eliminated wherever there is a possibility. So wherever it is possible, duplicate terms and the meaning should be eliminated. Yes, these are the 4 tables. These are the 4. No. These tables are used in the decision making process by which we can generate the process by which we can make the decisions, and there are therefore 6 rules that is available at the table that provides each decisions immediately when we construct the decision table. Now next one is pros and the cons, that is advantage and the disadvantage and the disadvantage of each and every tool. So what are the various advantages, what are the various disadvantages of the tool? Now taken out this example, that is what is the question that is for computing the discount. So as per this example, this is the case, or this is an example of taking the discount. So add the number of copies per book title. Add the number of copies, what are the copies that is required for the book. Now if the order that is the order that is given is from the bookstore. And if the order size is small, that means the order size is small and it is also available from the order is also from the bookstore, then discount is 20%. That means the discount is given as a 25% or 20%. Else, if the order size is minimum, so if the order size is small, then the discount is 25%, and if the order size is minimum, then there is no discount is allowed. Else, now, else means otherwise. Else, if the order is from the libraries or the individual customers, so if order size is large, discount is 15%. That means if the order size is small, discount is 25%, it is minimum, no discount. And if the order is from the libraries and the individual customers, so the order size is large, now check out the order size that is large, so discount is 15%. Else if the order size is medium, this is not, this is the wrong spelling of the medium that is given in the book. This is EM, not ME, not the EM. This is given as a MDM, but this is the medium. So discount is 10%. And if the order size is small, the discount is 5%. And if the order size is minimum, no discount is allowed. So these are the 4 conditions that is available for the libraries and or the individual group. And these are the conditions that is available if the book is or if the order is available from the bookstore. So, and if the order size is small, then the discount is 25%. Else, if the order size is minimum, no discount is allowed. Else, if the order is from the libraries or the individual customers, order size is large, discount is 15%, medium 10%, small 5%. Else, if the order size is minimum, there is no discount. That means there is no discount that is given to the users. So the stub part is also divided into the 2 parts. One is the condition stub, one is a lower stub that is known as the action stub. Now, and the entry point that is given, that is also divided into the upper quadrant known as the condition entry and the lower quadrant known as the action entry. And the 4 elements and their definitions are available, we can summarize in the figure, summarized in the table. That is, what are the various 4 elements and their definitions. Sorry. For on the left hand side there is the condition stub, on the right hand side there is the condition entry, and these are the 6 major components that is available for the condition entry. These are 1 2 3 4 5 6, and this is the customer is book store order size 6. That means customer is book, so this is given for the condition if the customer is available for the book. And then there is the y, that means yes, this is the yes is the condition. Then again this is the yes, this is the condition for the bookstore. Then again see yes, no and no. Then again it is a yes, then no for this one. Again it is using for the 4 yes, then 1 yes, 3 no's, then yes, no and then no. So these are the ways by which we can present within the diagram within the table. So these are the various action that is taken out on the condition. So there are multiple conditions on the basis of which we can take out the actions. Like the same way that we have discussed in the last class about the decision trees, but the difference is that is a pictorial and this is a tabular, nothing else. Everything is same, every condition is same, every position is same, every action is same, but the difference is yes and no. Now, after this, yes or no, there is a conclusion, or we can say the output. This is for the allow the discount. This is for the 25% discount. Then allow 15% discount. And these are the various X. If the discount is available for the 25%, put a cross, put a X over here. That means, yeah, condition is okay, condition is applied over here. Then again, there is the X for the next condition. These are the various conditions that is satisfied. So we put the 6X over here. Now, what are the various action steps and the action entries? So this is figure that defines what are the various action steps and the action elements and the action steps and the condition steps that is available in the decision table. So first one is the element, then location, definition. First one is a condition step, that is the location is the upper left quadrant. That means sets forth in the question from the condition that may exist. So whatever the condition, whatever the question, whatever the definition that is available, that question is from the condition that may exist. The next one is the action step. This is for the lower left quadrant. So outline in narrative from the action to be taken to meet such condition. So whatever the condition, whatever the action that is taken out, so these actions, these conditions should be carried out to meet the condition, to meet the successful conditions. So one is a condition step, one is an action step. And the location is for the upper left quadrant and for the lower left quadrant. Definition is definition means what is the explanation of this one, that sets the forth in question from the condition that may exist, then outline in narrative form the action should to be taken to meet such condition. Now, next one is again the condition entry that is the upper right quadrant. So provides the answer to questions asked in the condition step quadrant. So what are the various questions that will be asked for the condition step quadrant? Then action entry is the lower right quadrant. So this indicates the appropriate action resulting from the answers to the condition in the condition entry quadrant. And the answers are represented by a Y. That means each and every answer is represented by the Y, that is yes to signify the yes, and N to signify a no. And a blank to show that the condition involved has not been tested. That means the condition not been tested, so we don't know about the Y and the N. That means yes or no. Now in the action entry quadrant, an X or a check mark will do indicates the response to the answers entered in the condition entry quadrant. That means whatever the response we are giving to the answer that is entered in the condition that is used for the entry quadrant, that is used for the X, that is used for the check mark. Furthermore, each column represents a decision or a rule. That means each and every column represents either decision or a rule. For example, rule 1 states, if a customer is a bookstore and the order size is 6 copies or more, that means if the customer or the book is available in the bookstore and the order size is 6 copies or more, then allows 25% over there. That means the discount is 25%. So according to the decision table, we have 6 decisions and the 6 rules. That means one is a 25%, one is a no discount, one is 15%. And look at the table that provides each decisions immediately. The following rules should be allowed in constructing the decision tables. First one is a decision that should be given in a name that should be available or that should be shown in the left side of the table. Then the logic of the decision table that is independent of the sequence in which the condition rules are written. That means what are the various conditions, what are the various rules regulation that is followed for the condition that should take place in the order in which the event occurs. Then standardized languages that must be used consistently. Then duplication of the terms and the meaning that should be eliminated. So next one is what are the various advantages and the disadvantages of each and every tool. So the primary strength of DFD is the ability to represent the data flow. That means when you use the DFD, we represent how the data will be flow within the organization, within the system. And it may be at the higher or the lower level of analysis and provides a good system documentation. So a good system documentation means a good support that is available for the system documentation. However, the tool only weakly shows input and output detail. The user often finds it confusing initially. So first of all, it finds confusing initially, that is used for the input and the output. And then the data dictionary helps the analyst. So if the data dictionary is available, that helps the analyst simplify the structure for meeting the data requirement. So whatever the data requirement that is used in this one that meets the data requirement for simplifying the structure, and it may be used at the lower on the upper or low or the or high or the low level of the analysis, but it does not provide functional details and it is not acceptable to many technical users. So it is not acceptable to many technical users that provides the functional details over here. Now, Next one is structured English is best used, or structured English is best used when the problem requires sequence of the decisions or sequence of the actions with the decision. So whatever the decision, whatever the action that is taken out, so that actions, that decisions will be carried out with the major requirements of the users. The next one is decision trees are used to verify the logic and in problems that involves a few complex decisions resulting in the limited number of actions. So whatever the number of or whatever the few decisions, few action that will be taken out that is used for the decision that is used for the complex number that is used in the limited number of actions. Then decision trees and the decision tables are most or the best suited for dealing with the complex branching routines such as calculating the discounts or the sales commissions or inventory control procedures. So what are the control procedures or what are the various decisions that will be taken out for the inventory control methods? And given the pros and the cons of the structured tools, the analyst should be trained in the CEO of various tools for the analysis and the design. He or she should use a decision table and the structured English to get to the heart of the complex problems. That means what are the various whatever the various problem that will be used that is used for the complex problems. And the decision table is perhaps the most useful component or tool for communicating problems that is detailed to the user. So decision table is used as an important tool, useful tool when we communicate the problem that is details to the user. And the major contribution of the structured analysis is producing a definable and a measurable document, that is SRS. And other elements benefit that is used for the fewer kind that include the detailed explanation and design in the introduction. But the major limitation that is used, or that is increased the user time and the analyst time in the process. Overall, the benefits are more than the drawbacks. So that means structured tools or the structured analysis tools alternatives are used in the system development because benefits are more than the drawbacks, more than the limitations. So we are going for this structured analysis tools, that is data dictionary, decision tables, decision trees. Now, next one is a summary of this chapter. So we have discussed about the analysis. So analysis is one of the heart of the process or heart of the SDLC steps, and it is a key component of the first two phases of the cycle. First two phases means what are the various components, or it is a key component of the first two phases. And in analysis, the present system, the analyst collects a great deal of relatively unstructured data through interviews, questionnaires, on-site observations, and the procedure manual and the like. That means there are a large number or great deal of the data, unstructured data that is available, that is the interviews, questionnaires, on-site observation, procedure manual, and the like. Requirement determination also involves studying the current business system to find out how it works and where improvement should be made. And system studies are also used for the evaluation of how current methods are working and whether these adjustments are made possible for the data or not. And these studies consider both manual and the computer methods, and they are merely computer studies. The specific method analysts use for collecting data about the requirements are the fact-finding techniques. That means whatever the data, whatever the analyst or method that analyst use for the finding the requirements, that is known as the fact-finding techniques. That includes the interviews, questionnaires, record inspection, that is the on-site view, and the observations. An analyst should usually employ more than one of these techniques to ensure that the investigation, that the requirement gathering must be correct. That means the analyst does not fully realize on the one of the technique, that is either interview, either questionnaire. No, but he or she may use some techniques and or some of the more technique, or that means one or two technique that is used for the comprehensive investigation. And structured analysis is also a set of the techniques and the graphical tool that allows the analyst to develop a new kind of specifications that are easily understandable to the user. And analysts work primarily with their weights, pencil, and the paper. Most of them have their note tools, The traditional approach focus on the cost benefit and the feasibility analysis, project management, hardware and the software selection. Now the first step is to draw a DFT that was developed by the Larry Constantine, that is Constantine, as a way of expressing the system requirement in a graphical format or graphical form that leads to a modular design, that is a DFT, data flow diagram. Then data dictionary, that is a structured repository of the information, that is a collection of the data about the data. It offers the primary advantages of documentation and improving analyst user communication by establishing the consistent definition that is given for various elements, terms, and the conditions. Then decision tree, that sketch the logical structure based on some criteria. That means what are the various logical structures that is used with the decision tree, and it is very easy to construct, read and update the decision trees. So this is a diagram that presents the condition and the action sequentially and therefore shows which condition should be considered first, which one is second, and which one is so. And it is also a method of showing the relationship of each condition and its permissible actions. And these are the advantages and the disadvantages. So first is what is the system requirement? That means what is the meaning of the system requirement? What are the various techniques? That is, what are the